Good morning, everyone. Javier Becerra, Attorney General for the state of California. Thank you all for joining with us today for our announcement. I'd like to also make sure I recognize the people who will be speaking who are critical to this particular announcement we're making today. Let me tell you who we have with us. We will have three superintendents speaking today. Jeff Malin, the superintendent of the Barstow Unified School District. Spencer Holtom, who is the Oroville City Elementary School District Superintendent, and Superintendent Corey Willenberg, who is the Oroville Union High School District Superintendent. I want to thank the three of them for being part of this announcement. I want to thank the three of them and their teams for the work that they did within their school districts to move us forward, and certainly for the benefit of all the children that are in their districts. And I want to also acknowledge Laura Fair, who is the Deputy Attorney General, who helped with this project along with a team of others in the Department of Justice. Laura will be available to answer any detailed questions if you choose to ask them with regard to today's announcement. And so I'll make sure that Deputy Attorney General Fair is available to respond to any detailed questions that you might have. Let me begin first by saying to each and every one who is watching or listening or is interested in this news about their children and their education, first and foremost, we hope that you're able to get back to getting your kids educated. We know that the superintendents and their teams of teachers and personnel and principals are all working towards that. And we also want to extend our heartfelt thought for those families who right now are suffering through not just COVID-19, but the fires. And we want them to know that we're hoping that they are finding themselves in good shelter and are able to be in a safe place, and also preparing for the family to move forward, whether it's education or work or anything else. But these are trying times, but we'll get through it together. Today's announcement is important because it continues a series of work and investigation that the California Department of Justice has been doing throughout the state involving our schools. And what we're finding is that oftentimes some of our schools and the personnel in our schools are not complying with the requirements of the law with regard to the education of our children. Most of the time, it has a lot to do with resources. Oftentimes, it has a lot to do with changing laws that folks aren't keeping pace with. And unfortunately, sometimes it's that there is a negligence in trying to move that forward. Whatever the case, it's the job of the Department of Justice to make sure we work to make sure that every child is getting the education, not just that they deserve, but that they're entitled to under the law. And so today's announcement is to talk about the work that we have done with these three school districts to try to move forward with the education of the children that assist the schools in their districts. Let me start by mentioning what our investigation found. We found that Black students and students with disabilities at Barstow Unified were significantly more likely to be punished and at greater risk of suspension than their similarly situated peers of other races and without disabilities. For instance, the rate of days punished among students who were reported for defiant behavior in Barstow elementary schools was 168% greater for Black students than for their white peers. Black students in Oroville's elementary and middle schools lost days of school due to suspension at a rate of 18 times the state average. Oroville middle school students with disabilities received nearly twice as many days of punishment as their non-disabled peers. Black Oroville high school students were 56% more likely to be suspended out of school than white students reported for the same type of behavior. And Oroville high school students with disabilities lost nearly twice as many days to out-of-school suspension as students without disabilities. That's some of what we found, and there were other things. And I think all of us would agree that every one of our children should be able to access education equally. And every one of us wants to make sure our children are moving in that direction. Here's the important thing about today's announcement. We're talking about moving forward. And regardless of what the circumstances were, And I know that the superintendents will talk about their particular situation and their students. What I think is important to take away from here is that we have 3 school districts that are moving in the right direction, that they are moving in a way that gives every child a sense and their parents a sense that they will get educated. And that perhaps is the most important aspect of this. Oftentimes, it takes someone to look over a shoulder. Oftentimes, it takes a nudge. Oftentimes, it's just a matter of collaborating. Whatever that is, the Department of Justice and our Bureau of Children's Justice in the Department of Justice is there to try to help provide that extra assist to move us in that direction. And so let me tell you what we are discussing and agreeing to with the school districts today, the 3 school districts. We've worked out a 5-year plan that includes provisions for the school districts to do the following things: revise policies and practices on student discipline to ensure non-discrimination, to strengthen mental health, social work, and counseling services in order to better address and evaluate the needs of students with mental health disabilities, establish district-wide multi-tiered systems of support to ensure a focus on teaching positive behaviors, addressing students' academic and emotional needs that often cause behavioral issues, and providing greater interventions for students struggling with mental health issues. We also are going to provide for the conducting of regular analysis of student discipline, assessing whether students of a particular race or color or national origin or with disabilities are more likely to receive discipline and sanctions, including harsher or longer punishments. Also, we're going to make sure schools are engaging the community with regular practice and regarding their policies, so that we can make sure as they make policy changes, including those that are going to be helpful to students, that everyone is being made aware of those changes and that it is being done in a way that is fair and equitable to all and creates a supportive school environment. We call for improved procedures for handling student complaints, ensuring that staff understand their obligations to adequately respond to and track reports of discrimination, harassment, bullying, and retaliation. All of those things help move us forward. All of those things will help ensure that kids have a chance to focus on what counts, the 3 R's, and learning what it takes to move them on in life. And so it is important that we do this. We've had to do a number of cases involving a number of school districts in California. While California is probably a pioneer and a forward-leaning state in so many different ways, we still have our areas where we are trying to keep pace or catch up. Not long ago, about a year and a half ago, we had to take on Sausalito Marin City School District in the county of Marin for segregation issues. And we were able to work out a plan for desegregation of schools. This is the first time in 50 years a desegregation case has been filed in the state of California. But we're moving forward, and that's what counts most. And so with that said, I think the important thing is to recognize that we have partners in this effort to move forward. We have people who are trying to do things the right way. We have people who care, and we have people who are paying attention. And so let me start by asking the superintendent of the Barstow Unified School District, Jeff Malin, to please take some time to say some words about today's announcement and the work that's being done at the Barstow Unified School District. Superintendent Malin.
Thank you. Good morning, and first of all, thank you, Attorney General Becerra and Deputy Attorney General Laura Fair, for this opportunity to address the concerns that we want to take head on and be proactive and assure that we move forward in a positive direction. This agreement comes at an opportune time as we are in the midst of significant and intense change throughout the country. As an educational institution, we are tasked with preparing our youth for a future world, a world that we know does not exist at this time. If we wish that our world to be one where equality, goodwill, and compassion for others are fundamental to our humanity, we must start with our most valuable and vulnerable, and that, of course, is our students. It is not enough to simply teach this in the classroom. We must model it in everything we do, from curriculum building to discipline to administrative practices. I am confident that the strategies outlined in this agreement will act as a guide toward a more inclusive and supportive educational experience for our students and families. VUSD is looking forward to implementing the measures developed in collaboration with the Attorney General's office and is grateful to the team from the AG's office for their guidance and expertise throughout this process. VUSD has endeavored to promote inclusion and equity for our students and will continue to keep it at the forefront of our minds as we move forward. As a district, we need to stay responsive and proactive around the issues of race, perception, and inclusion for our students and families, and also simply to listen, understand, and ultimately do a better job. I want to thank you again for this opportunity.
Superintendent Malin, thank you very much. Let me now ask Superintendent Spencer Holtom of the Oroville City Elementary School District to say some words. Superintendent?
Thank you. Appreciate being here with you, Attorney General Becerra and Deputy Superintendent, Attorney General Laura Fair and her working with us as we went through this process. I prepared a short statement. Oroville City Elementary School District is dedicated to providing support and training to all of its students, staff, and community members. Our mission here in Oroville is moving forward together, impacting the future one student at a time. We focus on the whole child and are doing all we can to help them be lifelong learners. We strive to prepare our students to be not only academically successful, but maybe more importantly, successfully socially, emotionally, and culturally, whether we are teaching in person or from afar. It is our goal in Oroville City to be the best district that we possibly can be for not just our community, but more importantly for our students. We think that ultimately it is our responsibility to help our kids get to the next level, which is to be college and career ready and to be ready for whatever lies ahead once they move out of our school district. Thank you very much, and we look forward to continuing our work. Thank you.
Superintendent Holtom, thank you very much for those words. Let me now turn to Superintendent Corey Willenberg of the Oroville Union High School District. Superintendent.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. The Oroville Union High School District is committed to providing a quality educational experience for all students in a safe and supportive environment. Over the course of the past year and a half, we have cooperated with the representatives and experts of the California Attorney General's office in their investigation into district practices, particularly with regard to our Black and Native American and special needs students. We're committed to working with the state's monitor to improve our practices, increase staff training, modify our discipline practices, and ensure that every student, no matter his or her ethnicity, will know that we take seriously our commitment for equity and achievement. As a result of this settlement, we have already amended our board policies and began our employee training program. We are modifying our student discipline policy in order to keep kids in school and engaged. We want our students and parents to know that the district will not tolerate bullying or harassment or any other kind of demeaning conduct by our students or staff. I assure you that we will take prompt and effective action to eliminate such behaviors should they occur. You have my assurance and commitment to seeing that the terms of this settlement are carried out, both in spirit and in actuality. And to the parents of the school district, I want you to know that I welcome your input, involvement, and feedback, and my door is open should you wish to bring my attention to any situation that needs addressing. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent. I think at this stage, we are prepared to take any questions that there might be from the media. And so we want to thank you for participating.